Hello book lovers, and welcome back or welcome to Nakat's Bookish Cafe. Today we are going to reorganize my unread TBR shelves. Alright guys, so for the last few weeks these have gotten a little bit out of hand, and I have to admit, as soon as I decided to film this video, I did nothing to try to make them look better. So they are just not looking good right now, and it is definitely getting on my nerve. I am someone who keeps my read books and my unread books separate. It just makes things easier for me when it comes to planning TBRs and managing the size of my unread TBR as well. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know what it looks like right now. I'm gonna tell you the whole area is messy. So we're gonna go ahead and do a lot of cleaning. Consider it some late spring cleaning since we are still in spring. But let's go take a look at what things look like right now. I will say there will be some spoilers for my June TBR as far as the physical books I selected for that, since you will see those. And there'll also be some spoilers for like my summer TBR and my 5-star prediction video. I'll have all three of those linked down below if you would like to watch those ahead of time. All right, so starting with the most important thing in my room, we have my cat Loki. We will see if he stays or if he leaves, because I am probably going to end up putting some books on my bed as I move things around, and he might get a little annoyed. But for now, he's chilling. And over here we have these two shelves that I bought specifically for my TBR. My goal as far as my TBR, our own TBR, was that I never owned so many unread books that these shelves would overflow. And while it looks like they're relatively empty right now, I do have a lot of books in other areas. So that goal kind of went out the window relatively quickly. I will say it's not too far out the window. It's kind of chilling in the backyard. Our TBR isn't too huge, but it definitely has outgrown these two shelves, but those are my main shelves. And then if we come over here into this really messy corner, you can see my TBR cart. So taking a closer look at that, this top shelf usually consists of my current monthly TBR. So like I said, you know, a little bit of a spoiler for some of the books that are on my June TBR. And then I also put the books that I have completed from the TBR. So this is the only book that I finished in the second half of May so far. So that is that. And then if we move down here, we see some of the books from my These Books Will Self-Destruct up to this book. And then we start with nonfiction and more nonfiction going down, and then a little bit of historical mass paperbacks, and then we have my dead Kindle down there as well. And then we move over to these bottom two shelves. Everything on these I have read, but these are kind of the overflow. Up here where my laptop is my 5-star prediction video books and my summer TBR books. With these shelves, one of the annoying thing is that taller books like the book of the month book that is down there at the bottom cannot fit into all of them. They can fit out the top one, but the rest of them they're too tall for, so that's why those books are laying on their side, which I don't like. We're definitely going to change that. And then down here at the bottom is the overflow, and this was my recent book haul, so as you can tell, I didn't even bother putting them away. And then we have stuff for like my demon cup here for my challenge video, and this is where I keep like the game pieces for my TBR game as well as some other things. And then behind here you see like my TBR game. All right, so I have to admit, going into this, I only have a plan for like the first half of this, and then once we complete that, we are just going to wing it. So this TBR cart I actually bought for a specific reason. I bought it to have my current TBR books on it, but that also includes these books. Like I wanted seasonal TBRs, 5-star predictions, the self-destruct books that are here, those I definitely want. But all of this like nonfiction stuff and those historical books that I have down there, I would like to take off of this TBR cart. The TBR cart was never supposed to be for overflow. It was supposed to be for priority books. And it hasn't been that for a long time. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and take off all the nonfiction and historical romance paperbacks, and then take these books, which I don't know which direction to move my hand to make it work, those books over there, and get them on here. So here is the TBR cart. It's a lot emptier, but like I said, this is just supposed to be like a priority, keep at the front of your mind kind of cart. So this is exactly how I would like it to be. So we have the summer TBR here and the 5-star prediction, and then these books will self-destruct at the very bottom because they're honestly the lowest priority for me. So this does make me very happy. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this cart, I'm going to take this table, I'm going to take this chair, and I'm going to go shove them over on that side of my room, because the shelves that I initially showed you, I can't really reach them when the chair is there. So we're going to get this all out of the way, and then we're going to take all the books that remain off and put them on my bed, and hopefully not disturb my cat anymore. And then we will see what we're gonna do with those. Forgot that doing that would scare my cat away. So sorry, he's gone. He's a total scaredy cat when it comes to the vacuum cleaner, but you know, I don't move this chair very often, so I had to take advantage of it. Sorry, Loki. So these are all of my physical unread books that are not on the cart, and piled up on this bed, it kind of seems a lot more than when they're on the shelves. Now, like I said, I didn't really have any plans beyond my cart, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to find the books that I'm not as interested in and put them on that top shelf, because that top shelf, once the chair is there, it is something I can't really reach at all. So these are definitely books where I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to touch them in the next at least 6 months or so. So not in summer or fall. don't foresee myself getting to them here in like 2024 or anything along those lines. So we're gonna go through here, see if we can go ahead and fill this shelf up as much as possible, and then we'll go ahead and fill up the other shelves with everything that is left over. I don't think I'm really going to categorize them or anything for a while. At that bottom extra shelf over there, I was doing a rainbow theme, but I don't think I'm gonna do that again. I was just doing that for funsies. So I think that whatever hardbacks are left over, they will get priority on the second bottom shelf there, and then I will just fill it in maybe from like taller to shorter, kind of do a height kind of situation, and then whatever doesn't fit on those two shelves, we'll go ahead and go on to that final shelf. I think I still want to keep my nonfiction books separate. I'm going to go ahead and put them on the shelf where the 5-star prediction and summer TBR had been at the beginning of this video. If what I'm saying doesn't make any sense, that's because I'm just thinking out loud right now, and you will see what I do when I'm doing it. So let's go ahead and see what books want to go on top. Though actually it might be easier for me to just get rid of the nonfiction real quick, put them up there, and then we'll start with my lower priority books. So let's do that. Alright, so this is a super weird angle, but I have went ahead and put some of the books that I don't foresee myself getting to anytime soon. Most of these are honestly books that were already on this top shelf, and then I did move those books that were at the bottom of my TBR cart because they've been down there for a long time. So I mean, I feel like they're more in sight than they were when they were at the bottom of the TBR, but they're still not books that I'm going to like prioritize or anything like that. So pretty happy with the way this worked out. I think it all fit relatively perfectly, and now we're gonna go ahead and start putting books on here. Again, I mean, I started kind of doing tallest to shortest, but then I wanted all the hardbacks to be together, and some of the paperbacks are taller than some of the hardback books, so that kind of all went out the window. To be honest, these are not organized in any way whatsoever. But with these ones, I think what I want to do, just to make it a little easier, when I'm doing my TBR game is to maybe break it up by genre. So I think I'm going to organize those by genre real quick, see what we're working with, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just like leaning into frame really awkwardly. So we have our contemporary romance right here. These are all fantasy. There's a stack behind this one, so definitely the most fantasy. These are mostly kind of like sci-fi dystopian vibes. These are kind of horror, thriller, mystery vibes, and these are just kind of like random. Like I didn't know what to put them under, to be honest. Like this one, I can't remember. I keep wanting to say it has a little bit of magical realism, but it could just be lit fic. This one is, I guess you could consider it a classic, and this one I think would also be considered a classic at this point, but it might be more like a historical queer romance kind of situation, but not contemporary. So that is what we're working with right now. Seeing as fantasy is the biggest stack, I think I'm going to go ahead and put them on that bottom shelf, and then we'll see how much room we have left over after that. I would never play those games with you. Looking at how much room is left, I don't think there's enough room for the sci-fi. I feel like there's too much room for just the 3 random books I had left over, but I may need to split up another category because I don't think they're all going to fit on there. So I think I want to start with what I have on my sci-fi side here, and then we'll carry over into the other shelf. And I am going to go ahead and put this volume of Offense on here, even though it's contemporary, just because I know it's not going to fit on that other shelf because it's too tall. So the only sci-fi that didn't make it up here was a Jurassic Park, which is kind of annoying because it's just one book, but oh well. I mean, this one could be considered as somewhat of like a horror thriller kind of situation. I think that it could also fall under that category. So we're gonna go ahead and move over to our final shelves, and then we will go ahead and add any trinkets back, and then we will go ahead and I just noticed that this is really dark, but sorry. Then we'll go ahead and show a overview of how the shelves turned out. All right, guys, so new shelves all ready to go. We'll get a nice close-up of these as well. Once again, top shelf. These are books that probably just aren't going to be read in the next year or so. And then on the bottom shelf, I did have to take these 3 books right here that were supposed to go on the other shelf and put them here because they're too tall. So that is a restriction of that shelf. But here are some of my fantasy and sci-fi books. Then we have the TBR cart, looking a lot less messy than it was before. I say that as all my books are tipped over from being transferred from one location to the other. I did also add my annotating junk there in the corner, and then we have the nonfiction books here, and then we just have the overflow of all the other books, which is a little bit of a mix since I had to steal space for those books that are too tall, but should be mostly kind of like horror, thriller, mystery, a little bit of random, and then some contemporary romance as well. And then just some stuff for my games. And I just realized my owl is laying on his side. So let's go ahead and make him look right. But yay! All right, guys. So those are my TBR shelves, all nice and organized. We'll see how long it lasts. It should last at least through June until I do my July TBR and start throwing stuff around again. But I am super happy with the way they turned out. I would love to know if you saw any books today where you're like, oh my god, I love that book so much. You should definitely try to get that on your next TBR. Read it as soon as possible. I would love to know. And I would also love to know if you guys keep your TBR books separate from your already read books, or if you kind of just mix things together, because I've seen it both ways, but honestly, this is the only way my brain can handle it. But thanks guys so much for watching. I hope this video wasn't too chaotic. And as always, thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!